people can't look past that and see that this is a person who has an extreme reach, somebody who has the ability to communicate with so many millions of people, with her videos. It's beyond me that we can't get past this little. I don't even know this distraction that the president threw in our way. It's like, oh hey, we're going to have this YouTuber here, so everybody freak out, and we've done a great job of freaking out and focusing on the wrong thing, and it's been obnoxious, quite frankly, and we've talked about some of the stuff that was from the mainstream guys, the stuff that was in the the less mainstream areas, in the Facebook groups, in the less than public areas. It's just not been good, and it's been something that has disappointed me greatly, I'll say.
Right, but we have found that there's a couple of voices out there that are thinking along the lines we are. This morning on WIBC, and Tony Katz is in the morning show, he actually addressed this, and he came down with the numbers, the numbers of subscribers, the numbers of people that the president was able to reach without media filter. He said the same sort of things that we did and agreed with us. He's got audio that we'll link in the description that you can hear when he's talking about it on the show, 2 clips. And then later in the day, we found out that Ed Morrissey at Hot Air had also kind of sort of come around to that way of thinking as well, seeing the opportunity instead of just the embarrassment. That's good news for us, to be able to see that we can differ in our opinions, but that it's not just us. It's not just the 2 of us sitting here saying, there's an opportunity here you're missing. There are some people with some, how did you put it, heft, that have, and some reach, that have talked about this and have made the point that we might be onto something with our perspective.
Actually, now that you mention it, and the way that you phrase it like that, if you think of these YouTubers like a Rush Limbaugh or like a Mark Levin, except apolitical, except just in their own on their own level, not having anything to do with politics, just having to do with them. I mean, we've had YouTubers who have mentioned a product, and that product, it's like a mini Oprah. It's that kind of effect, where you have somebody who receives that endorsement from a YouTuber, and it works because they have a really large base, and they are able to say, hey, if this is something that I appreciate and this is something that I like, you should like it too. Check it out. That is incredibly influential, and something that we have ignored. Think about how many people that Rush reaches each day, and how many people these guys reach multiple times a day.
Just think of how few people on the right that have that kind of influence do that on a regular basis. I can think of a handful, and those are people that I respect and admire and like, and they bring notice to other people. But we don't even do that very well on the right. There's too few people willing to push something they like or something that they got a lot out of, whereas that is an ethic in the YouTube community. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, that's another thing, is that you want to talk about some serious numbers. You have a lot of these YouTubers do crossovers, do collaborations. So imagine what happens. What are you going to talk about if you have if you have Bethany Moda on your YouTube channel, and you just invite her over and you're going to do something? What do you think you're going to talk about? Do you think you're going to talk about nothing, or do you think you're going to talk about the fact that she freaking interviewed the president? I mean, I'm pretty sure you're going to talk about the fact that she interviewed the president. And that is another, that's another layer here of reinforcement of what went on in the interviews. I mean, that's huge, and the kind of exposure is magnified. It's a huge multiplier that we're talking about here.
Well, and I think we should be helping people understand YouTube a little bit better. with this, and in doing so, I know that you have some favorites or some people that you recommend that we watch and learn from and look at. Tell us some of your favorites, some of the people that are remarkable in YouTube, whether they're political, apolitical, what?
Yeah, this is something that it's been very important to me for a long time. I wrote about this a couple of years ago, and I've been meaning to get back into it. Uh, there are a lot of YouTubers out there. There's a huge amount of diversity on YouTube, and it's not just comedy. It's not just people swimming in bathtubs with cereal in them. You actually have some really interesting science. Uh, I mean, videos, channels dedicated to science. Hank Green, who is in the first person to interview Obama in the White House interview, he has a science show called SciShow. He was a chemical engineer, and he does a talk show that's all science based. He has a channel that's dedicated to information about science, and I mean that's a great thing to go and check out. I'm subscribed to the SciShow. If you are looking for something that is a little bit more conservative friendly, maybe, I mean, because obviously our audience is not going to be the biggest YouTube audience ever. Uh, you could look at somebody like, a Julie Borowski. She's got videos that are maybe a little bit sillier, but also are to the point when it comes to conservatism and to libertarian politics, conservative politics. It's something that hopefully you've seen already. Any number of Julie videos. She's great, and they take 2 minutes of your life, so you should watch them, check them out. From there, we could talk about Remy, who does excellent pop culture references and music parodies that have really hit the Obama administration harder than any other parodies I've seen. Like, he does an excellent job. He's talked about the NSA, he's talked about Obamacare, he's talked about all sorts of different things, and with him and Julie, this is something that's really criminal, is that we haven't. These are our guys. These are the guys on our team, and we aren't supporting them anywhere near enough. Getting outside of the conservative spirit, but not really so much. We have people like Dow Flatermouse, who does, getting back sort of into the science thing, but he has some fun with shotguns. He puts all kinds of different. I'm not sure what his job is actually, but he has a slow-mo camera, and he shoots like all sorts of wax shots. He shot silly putty out of a shotgun. It's just like interesting stuff, fun with guns, and conservatives seem to like that. That's something that I think we can agree that's a fun thing to watch, and it's cool. There's definitely some science involved as well there, and also continuing the science trend. I'm a geek. I'm sorry. I guess this has something to say about my tastes, but you have Smarter Every Day, which features a Christian rocket scientist, from Alabama named Destin, who, in order to enhance his kids' college fund, started up a series of videos, Smarter Every Day. And sadly, they're not every day. He does not put out a video every day, but he puts out really, really, really great content. And I've talked about this before in other places, but he actually had a excellent video about the Second Amendment, about the First Amendment, and what you can do legally with your gun, with in the video that I'm talking about. He actually, somebody was jailed for filming a railroad track, and he himself went to go and video a railroad track to say, hey, I'm doing this. This is my right. This is within my right, and he wasn't hassled. So there's so much more, again, than the comedy, haha, whatever, juvenile maybe videos that are thought of. Another really interesting YouTuber, and one that we'll talk about more later, is Philip DeFranco, who I believe it's 3 or 4 times a week he puts out the Philip DeFranco show, where he talks about not just pop culture stuff, not just frivolous stuff, not just, oh my goodness, this happened kind of stuff, but he also actually puts in some pretty substantive news and commentary, and he keeps it pretty even-handed. He actually was, and this might be a knock against him, but he was a Gary Johnson supporter in 2012, but he claims to be a fiscal conservative, social liberal, and that's somebody who I can talk with. That's somebody who I can understand, and I can, I can appreciate that perspective, and I think it's something that people don't really realize. They think that maybe the internet, because of all of the young people on it, are going to be liberals off the bat, but there certainly are more than just liberals out there, whether it's, Destin in Alabama or Philip DeFranco, who has a huge audience, a massive audience, over 1 billion views just on his own. It's 1.3 billion views on his own. And people like the Shaytards, who are a family of Mormons in, I believe, Montana, who have another really massive viewer base, subscriber base, and they talk about they also talk about gun rights. They talk about all sorts of stuff. It is not the standard liberal fare on YouTube. Absolutely not.
No, and I know that we need to get better about that, but I want to stop here. Let us take a look at Phil's video the day of the State of the Union address. Phil did a video that, if I'm not mistaken, was titled something like "Trains Kill More People Than You Think," or something like that. Yeah, okay, so that doesn't sound political at all, right? Phil is just putting out a video that the title tells you trains and people dying, and that's all you know from the title. So I want to go through bit by bit and look at this video, and we'll just talk through it as we watch a little bit. The first 12 seconds is really interesting, if you want to cue that up.
Sup, nation, it is Tuesday. My name's Philip DeFranco, and let's talk about some news type stuff and things. And nation, the first thing I want to talk about today is Greg Plitt. He's an actor, model, and Bravo TV personality who died Sunday after he was hit by a train.
So you can see that after just 12 seconds, Phil has done his intro, has his start branded, and he's ready to talk. Phil is already moving into the subject matter he wants to talk about, which is trains. He's talking about the story of a celebrity who has died because of an incident with a train. He was working out, filming in a train yard, and he got hit. And he spends a couple of minutes talking about this, and it's grabbing the people's attention. Now, you may care or may not care about this guy. It was a very shocking and strange story about his death. But Phil has grabbed the attention in 12 seconds. Right after that, grab the attention of the people watching with a story like this. People watch that, and then he moves on to the next segment, the Today in Awesome segment.
And from there, I want to share some stuff I love today, and Today in Awesome, sponsored by HostGator.com. HostGator.com, of course, a fantastic place if you've been wanting to make a blog, do something business, make a sexy time gallery place. They have super easy website builders, one-click WordPress installs. My personal stamp of approval is I love and trust them so much I use them for SourceFed.com. And if you do decide to make the smart move, use coupon code PhillyD for 30% off. And the first bit of awesome is from YouTuber Roman Atwood, who, it's described as a prank, but it's really just a bit of awesome that we would all do if we had the time and or money. And that is, he turned his entire first floor into a giant ball pit. Also, for those of you going, well, I have some money, how much would it cost? There's actually a site for that. I'll include the link down below. Not a sponsor, just a bringer of happiness. And there was some other YouTube awesome, but not from a YouTuber, but instead a Shaolin monk, who broke his previous record by running 394 feet on water. Asterisk. He's also running on thin plywood planks that are floating. It's amazing to watch. Almost as amazing, the first person awesome of watching Martin sunk a race at Red Bull Air Race. Just a butthole clencher. Then in video game awesome, I didn't even know I wanted. After being teased over the weekend, Call of Duty released a trailer for its new Exo Zombies mode, and it is amazing. I will say that even though people have given the Call of Duty franchise a ton of crap for repeating a bunch of stuff over and over, it is also true that no other video game has ever allowed me to be John Malkovich or Bill Paxton killing zombies. Something I previously didn't know I wanted